Hello and welcome back to the flight deck. We are ready for push and start. So what we're going to use is toolbar pushback for our pushback today. It's a free add-on you can find on the flightsim.to website. So we're going to push back like that. That looks okay there. Accept that.
Cockpit to ground.
And we're going to go outside and make sure that everything has disappeared, which it has. We've got no chocks. And it started raining, as you can see. So what we're going to do quickly is we're just going to change the performance calculator and put wet and see if that will change on there. So nothing major's changed, it's just the takeoff speeds to give us a lower V1. So we'll go N1 limit, takeoff, next page. Just double check first, everything looks the same. So we'll just go next page, click wet. Deleted the V-speeds, that's fine. So,
the bypass pin is installed.
And we'll repop them back as 128, 136,
ground equipment is removed.
Everything's fine.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Right, so for engine
set.
start, we are going to need to turn off the packs and get everything ready. To do that shortly, let's just get the map up so we can see where we're going to
cleared for start and push.
So,
okay, cleared for
we'll
push
line up
start.
the courses for
Please
departure.
release parking brake.
You can find in Navigraph charts. So we'll get the beacon light on, transponder TARA, and the packs can come off now. You can't start the engine with the packs. So
parking brakes are released.
Parking brakes released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
Set them. There you
go. It will start in the sequence.
So we'll go quiet now because we've turned off all the passenger air conditioning systems, and we'll go to the right starter, and we'll turn the engine starter to ground, and we'll wait for 25%, and then we'll throw fuel lever number 2 all the way up. So there you go, 25%. Fuel's going to be loaded in now. Engine number 2 is starting nicely. Pushback's nearly finished now.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Parking brake set. So you heard that click. You don't start engine number 1 until the red bar there has disappeared, which shows it's the safety bar.
Ground.
So once that's disappeared, engine number 2 has
started
correctly, and we can start engine number 1, which it has. So pushback tug's going away.
Holding position, waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
The start switch to ground for number 1. And we'll repeat what we did a minute ago, and we'll wait until 25% and throw the fuel in to number 1. And there's the fuel going in now. Engine number 1 is starting nicely. We've got to wait for that red bar to disappear, so the switch has gone back to the off position, as you can hear from that click, and we're just waiting for the engine to stabilise. And now we can do the after takeoff flows. So left gen, right gen off. So power is now coming from the engines. Taxi light on, APU off, we don't need that anymore. Propeats can come on. The start switches can go to continuous. And the left pack can go to auto, right pack can go to auto. Isolation valve to off. And the APU bleed can come off now. We'll turn the wing and engine anti-ice on, and flaps can go down to position 5, and we'll wait for those to extend, and then we'll do a flight control check. So we'll go full right, neutral, full left, neutral, full back, neutral, full right, neutral, and that's just my yoke being funny as it keeps twitching to the left. It will fix itself eventually there. And we'll go full left on the rudders and full right on the rudders. All flight controls are free and correct. Those are all the checklists are complete, and we are ready to start taxiing. So release the parking brake. We'll double check by checking the config. So everything seems okay, and we've got everything set up. So we'll taxi on here. So it's a left-hand turn followed by another left-hand turn, and we'll go straight down to the end of runway 09. So just before we enter the runway, we're hold short here at Av09. We'll just talk about the departure. So we're going to use LNAV at 400 feet. We're not going to use VNAV. We don't really use VNAV in the 737 after departure until we're fully set up and clean. So we're at 141. We're going to go LNAV at 400. When we get airborne, we'll go N1 and bug up. And then we'll do our left-hand turn and we'll climb up to 6,000. We'll either carry on with level change or we'll go vertical speed to slowly rate descent down. Depends really how you're feeling on the day. You can use both modes, and then we'll go to VNAV just after departure when we've cleaned up the aeroplane. So let's get all the lights on. So we're going to enter the active runway now. We'll get the position to steady and check the config, everything's okay. Release the parking brake. We'll add a little bit of thrust. And we'll pretend air traffic controls told us we're cleared for takeoff. We'll ding the cabin to tell them to sit down. And it's a very gloomy day here in East Midlands, isn't it? I think it's going to be the same weather when we get to Dublin. Lining up now. Well, that looks okay there, so pull the brakes a bit and get the weather radar on. Bit of weather around us at the moment. Spool them up, get the timer on. Just because of my throttles the way they're mapped, we have to wait until my throttles stabilise at 40% before we set auto throttle, and we'll set toga. And we'll push the thrust levers all the way to the forward position. Beautiful sounds from Boris Audio Works. Maintaining centre line with a little bit of left rudder needed today.
80 knots.
80 knots, we'll go neutral on the yoke.
V1.
V1.
Rotate.
And rotate, pull through the dead band, trying to maintain centre line. Go.
Positive rate.
Gear up. Onto the flight directors, into the cloud. At 400 feet. So we'll go LNAV. And we'll follow that right hand turn. Bug up now as we go through 1,000 feet. So to 206 knots, which is the up speed. Still following the flight directors. I'll probably fly all the way up to 6,000 feet. And flying. Go flaps position 1. Clean up the aeroplane. And we'll start that left hand turn. We'll bug up to 240 knots. And we'll go flaps up. So the aeroplane's clean now as we go through the up-speed. So still hand flying. Using a bit of trim. Still in this horrible cloud, following the flight directors still. And there's the 1,000-foot call out. And we go command A. It's 250 knots. So we'll clean the aeroplane to auto brake, go up and off. And we'll go VNAV now because we're at 6,000 feet. Sorry, I meant to say auto brake off. Gear can go down into the off position. We'll turn a couple of lights off now. We'll have a look at the departure. So we're following it quite nicely. So we're at 6,000 feet now. When we get past the next waypoint, we'll start climbing up. So still in the thick of this cloud. We're not going to release the crew yet because it might still get a bit bumpy. So this level segment here, so it's 6,000 until D8.0 TNT, and then from there we can carry on climbing up. So what we'll do now is we'll set 240, and what that will do is when we pass the next waypoint, because we've got it in the VNAV mode, the aircraft will climb on the path that it's generated itself from what you've put in the FMC. So when we pass the next waypoint, it should change modes. Just above the artificial horizon, you'll see we've got FMC speed, LNAV, VNAV path. So in a second, when we pass, I'll show you. There you go. So the box highlights N1, VNAV speed, and it's going to start accelerating and climbing now up to 240, and as you can see 240 is purple just above the altitude. That is the altitude we're going to go to, and we can go standard barometric pressure now, climbing to the flight level, and out the clouds we go. So because we're coming out the clouds now, the cabin crew can be released, start switches can come off, turn the anti-ice off, that was done quite nicely. So now the aeroplane will stay in these modes until it gets to cruise, and then it will level itself off. You don't need to do anything from now really. The aeroplane has set itself up. You just need to turn off the lights and release the passengers, and check the pressurisation panel to see if the aeroplane is pressurising itself properly. Apart from that, it's just monitoring systems and making sure the aeroplane is complying with speed restrictions, altitude restrictions and everything. Coming up to 10,000 feet now. Get the rest of the lights off. pressurisation panel, we are pressurising the aircraft. So the aeroplane's accelerating now and it's stable, so we'll release passengers. And that is everything sorted. So there is part 2 complete. And we don't need to get to cruise because it'll do it all itself. I'll jump back in and I'll see you in the next video when we are beginning our descent and arrival preparation into Dublin.